Joe Martin, founder of the Rural Business Network, entrepreneur, business support provider, farmer, and a whole host of other things. It's kindly agreed to come along and chat to us today. Joe has experienced the Mind Your Business journey. She's got her own journey. Hopefully we'll get a few tips as to how the two have collided together at times. So welcome, Joe. And I just want to start really by, would you mind telling us about your journey through business from when it started to maybe where you are?
Goodness me, I don't think we've got 3 hours, and I have tried to condense it, but thank you very much for asking me to come along. I've never done anything like this ever before. But I grew up on a very small farm in Cheshire, hence I don't have North East accents. We weren't a dairy farm, we had cattle and chickens. I met my husband at the National Federation of Young Farmers AGM, because that was a very big social aspect for me. So it's a membership organisation for the youth. Let me just look at you and not at the audience, don't I?
I thought because you said youth, you were looking at me, that's why.
So that was my social life. So met my husband at the age of 23, got married, moved up here. So that's kind of coming up 30 years ago. We created a farming partnership, mixed farm, arable and sheep, and eventually some cattle. And I am very lucky and blessed to have 2 grown-up children, 2 sons. When my boys were little, I made cakes and sold them at farmers markets, supplied the butchers, a tea room, a cafe. Absolutely loved it. I'd start working at 9 o'clock at night when the boys were in bed, finish in the early hours. And I thought that I could grow that business. So this is back in 2006, 2007. I went to seek some business support, and that was Business Link at the time. And lovely fella, can't remember his name, probably just as well, but you just didn't get me at all. Farm wife, farmer, bit of a side hustle. I had great vision, great expectations, manufacturing cakes. And things happened in 2008 and I stopped making cakes. I've done various bits and pieces since then. Organised a Richfield show, which I absolutely loved, saw that develop. Went and did a marketing degree because I looked for a proper job, and at the time I needed a degree, so I got myself a marketing degree. Then got a job at in the automotive sector as an events executive. Decided that full-time work after 20 years, after a couple of years wasn't for me, 9 or 5. And because I did my degree at Teesside University, they do something called the Launchpad Fuel Programme. So I eventually got a bit of confidence to set up Rural Business Network in 2019. Took their advice and pivoted to be a jobs board. Soon got rid of that idea, and it was a membership organisation. So I did all the prep and planning, and I was going to launch on the 1st of April 2020.
Yeah, I remember what happened then, didn't we?
So the idea was that I would run events in County Durham, so clearly that didn't happen because COVID kind of came. It took me till the end of May that year to put on an online event, calling people that I knew, farm diversification, got quite a lot of interest. And so that'll be end of May 2020. I eventually got about 70 members from across the UK, so charging a very small membership fee, put on events, knowledge events. And I loved the fact that people from, I was a lady in Aberdeenshire, Chatdown in the Isle of Wight, Anglesey, and across to Norfolk. So you'd have a bit of knowledge from marketing or whatever that would be, and then there'd be discussion afterwards, and someone would say, I've got this problem, and somebody would go, oh, we had that problem, this is what we did, and it was just amazing, it really, really was good. I was very lucky, I did Durham City Incubator back end of 2020. I also had done my Masters in Tourism and Events, but never did my dissertation, so I'm a postgraduate diploma, not a Masters person. One day I'll get my doctorate, but I don't know when that will be. So I represented Sunderland University doing the Santander competition. So I was doing both of those. I nominated myself, so there's for the Farmers Guardian and the Farmers Weekly, and for the Farmers Guardian Digital Innovator of the Year. So I got shortlisted for that. So I had an awful lot going on. Then my mum died, so that was kind of like blew me off course a little bit. And then sort of 2021 and 2022 kind of things sort of like knock you sideways. But then I sort of saw there's the Challenge of Rural Leadership course, and I can never say this properly. So it's the Worshipful Company of Farmers, based down in London, and it's very much well, it was brilliant. I did a 2-week course in January 2022, and we've got a little mini reunion coming up imminently. And that made me realise that succession planning in farming businesses was a problem for lots and lots of people. And then I kind of realised in 2022 that I didn't want to be part of the farming partnership that I'd been in for 28 years. So 3 years ago, as of now, February 2023, I decided that divorce was the way forward. So I think those of you who met me 12 months ago, very difficult position, went through the whole court process, 2 final hearings that I was in March of last year, resulting in me and my youngest son leaving the family steading in the summer of last year. So that's kind of, so Rural Business Network was put on hold because my legal fees were quite high. So I went and got a 9-to-5 job as a business engagement officer at Business Durham. So it was interesting to see the other side of business support to what I would like to deliver for Rural Business Network.
Yeah, very interesting, and thanks for sharing that very personal anecdote of your life as well.
I've missed so much out.
But one thing I picked up on, we hear it quite a lot, don't we, when entrepreneurs talk about, I had to go and get a proper job. Somebody told me I need a proper job. So again, there's like this perception that people have that we're just swanning around, making things up and not really doing anything. I think it's really sort of, there's a misperception of what life as a business owner is really like. And as you alluded to there, almost like poacher turned gamekeeper. Mm-hmm. You went from being a serial business owner, an entrepreneur, to being in the business support world.
Yeah.
So do you think that having had a business really helped you deliver that business support? And do you think having worked in business support, it now makes you a better business person?
I think so. My first route back into being employed was a marketing executive for Visit County Durham. So I did that in the summer of 2023, and then the role came up to work on the Durham Business Growth Programme, which I have benefited from as a business since. But I was really surprised that the wonderful people who were delivering the business support on the ground had never run a business. And I was really shocked at that, actually. And the ones making the programmes are serial business support people, but again haven't necessarily run a business in recent times because things have changed. I mean, social media and websites and massively in the last 5 years, and AI, and you know, when I first had my cake making business, it was a static web page, and now it's ever evolving, isn't it? So yeah, but I thought, you know, my chickens had come to roost. I was delivering business support and getting paid for it, which was amazing. But yeah, I've learned a lot, and it's very much, when I did DCI, I mean, I'm very grateful for the mentorship that I got from that programme, but it's very much targets, and I've always overestimated what I can do, and then this self-worth, and I failed.
And what would you say was the best bit of sort of business support that you received?
From the Rural Business Network? I'm going to say mind your business. Yeah. I know you've probably got a question to sort of say how that links, but can I jump to it now?
Yeah, well, that's the question. How did you find out about Mind Your Business? What made you? I bet you were delivering business support. You're the expert. You know everything.
Oh, so. I'm so not an expert, and I'm not an advisor.
So what made you sort of drift towards that, or crash into that?
As a business engagement officer, we went and did business reviews, and then signposted for the support that was available within the programme. but I spoke to so many people who, like me, when I was sort of doing the cake making businesses, great ideas, but then the programme necessarily doesn't fit what they need right there, right now. So Kat, I believe, would come to do a lunchtime talk, which I wasn't there for. I think I was doing the business review at the time, but I heard the team talk about this new thing and they're like, ooh, because I realised I wasn't Superwoman a long time ago and knew that I needed to rebuild Rural Business Network when the time came, and how I could go about doing that. So I was going to ask the team leader if I can do the programme, but then she mentioned in a meeting that if anybody wanted to go, not me. So I came as an observer 12 months ago, with the mindset that I would apply to Rural Business Network when I was able to do that.
Sent in as a spy to see what these upstarts are.
A little bit, yeah. But I did register as a business, so.
What would you say, quite a long time ago, but what would you say was the best bit of the Mind Your Business programme? What's the bit that stood out for you then, if you like, back then?
Back then, values. So as a marketing student, it's very much vision, mission, values, but I probably didn't fully get that. So you made us do a sort of a values thing, and I've spent a long time kind of reevaluating that. But honesty is a huge one for me. Honesty and integrity, inclusion. So in the early days of RBN, I'd go to networking events, absolutely hate networking. So why would you build a business based on Rural Business Network? And I was just a fish out of water. You know, everyone's suited and booted, business development managers, and this little old me. So I needed to be inclusive as a community. You know, everybody involved in rural business is welcome in the RBN. Empowerment is a huge thing for me. So I dabbled in coaching back in 2022. And I'm trying to do my accreditation at the minute with the ethical coaching company, and Kirsty is very, very patient with me right now. So I'm doing my coaching hours, and two of the people I dabbled with 2022 have come back and got some great feedback from them that I'd empowered them to do something, and it's led to this, that and the other. So I'm kind of holding on to that very dearly.
Yeah, and that's the best sort of feedback for me, isn't it? It's that impact, and that's what the Mind Your Business team and Mind Your Business programme is all about, is creating impact. But was there any impact immediately when you sort of walked out of the classroom on day 2 where it was there any impact? Or?
Yeah, I mean, sort of at the time, 12 months ago, I was in a really stuck position, but I can't tell you how much this book has been brilliant, because I'm quite forgetful. So I flicked through it yesterday thinking I'm going to talk about this today. And you made us do check-ins. So the first check-in, it says, why are you here? And it was to form a plan to make Rural Business Network work for me. How are you? So I was optimistic, exhausted, and I wrote depressed, which is quite a strong word, but I was in a really sad place. And then you made us check out. So I was optimistic and exhausted, but I didn't put depressed in the checkout. And what was most useful was looking back at my tree of life. I didn't actually do, because I'm not very good at writing, so I didn't actually draw my tree of life in the book. I did it in a workbook, and one day I'll put it back in. But yeah, I mean, to the fact that I came away from that first session not feeling as lost, I guess, but reconnecting with the purpose, which is all about business support. And I've put on a sticky note here when I was reading through yesterday, is to provide the support I didn't receive 20 years ago. And I kind of crossed out support and I've written understanding, because I think from a rural business, and it's that definition of what's rural, but somebody who's from a farming background, someone who's got ideas to support the farming business, because at the minute farming business is pretty tough, but someone who gets you. And the coaching people that I've come across, they're like, you do get it, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I've just been wrestling with the sheep, and I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Yeah, and it's just that.
Yeah. Was there, at any point sort of since, has there been like a moment where you sort of, you said you reflected back a few times, but was there any sort of standalone moment where you thought, I'm glad I did the Mind Your Business training, because if I hadn't done it, this moment would have been very different, the impact of it?
Yeah, I think it's helping me build Rural Business Network, and you were asking, what does success look like? And that's a really big question. Happy and healthy, but what does happy look like, and what does healthy look like? So I am trying to be more mindful that I get into some movement my day. I'm trying to eat a little bit better. I connect with my youngest son in the morning because he lives with me, and I try and purposely focus on how I can support and make Rural Business Network the sort of the go-to place if anybody needs support, that they can just sort of dip in and dip out, because membership, I decided, did not work because that feels like a commitment, and we're all quite busy and we don't need extra commitments. The one thing that really helped me was sort of looking back over 5 years, and I wrote down a few things and I went, oh yeah, life events have really kind of like hurtled towards me, but I did more and achieved more than what I thought I'd achieve. So it's just giving myself a bit of credit, I guess.
Yeah, self-esteem and self-worth. That's what the last question really is. It's hard to explain to people why Mind Your Business will be useful, because they don't need it till they need it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know you need it, is there anything you would say to somebody who's maybe seen the programme, seen the website, watched the podcast, thinking, is that really for me?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a huge advocate. I've been very fortunate to attend the 6-week programme and the reset day. It's really tricky. You've got to invest in yourself. I mean, there's one of my coaching volunteers who I met at the North East Social Enterprise Day, and I asked him a question on our first session, and I said, what goal are you working towards? And he's like, for me or for my business? And I went, well, both, because it's part of you, it's all of you, but definitely invest in yourself and set up your business that suits you. I guess from a farming background, you work and work and work and work and work. So I've used some of the Mind Your Business stuff to help my youngest son, who's set up a calf rearing business, and so he's not working 24/7, but he's set it up in such a way that he can go off and do certain things.
Yeah. So I've got confidence to do businesses a little bit differently to maybe how everybody else is telling you to.
Definitely, yes. I think it has a place, sort of the traditional business support, and some of the things are quite useful, but don't set yourself up against other people, because it's designed for, I think, larger businesses, not people who have got great ideas and just need that trusted friend or a bit of hand holding at certain times.
If you don't mind, I'm actually open the floor to the questions.
I
didn't tell you that. I didn't tell you, but there's only a couple of people, so hopefully you won't mind.
I don't mind at all.
So does anybody have any questions for Jo before we wrap up?
I do. 20 years ago, you said you wanted to be the advice that you wish you'd have received 20 years ago. What do you think you could have received 20 years ago?
Just that help, because I was working from the kitchen table effectively. I think my pricing was wrong at the time. I was using awesome ingredients, so much chocolate on top of ground chocolate, so so maybe some more gentle advice on get your pricing sorted before you then go and sort of want a manufacturing facility. So I guess it was more that gentle advice rather than do this, I think. It was that understanding. If that helps.
Maybe a bit more bespoke advice to you as a cake maker rather than just general
Yeah.
how you run a business.
Yeah. I mean, it's a side hustle, but I was doing a lot of cakes. I think there was one farmer's market I took just shy of £1,000 one morning, so there was a lot of chocolate cake. I don't know actually, but that understanding and that hand holding a little bit, I suppose, or giving me the courage and the confidence. I really struggled with confidence and self-confidence massively. I've done a lot of work on that recently, and that's what I'd like to impart to other people, is to sort of like, you can do it, break it down.
And Anybody else? Any questions? Cat at the back.
The people who you have worked with personally on the ground to give business support for business owners, they're doing an amazing job within the parameters that they've been handed down from policymakers. If there was a policymaker who was looking at how macroeconomic policy could be affected by entrepreneurs and how they could help entrepreneurs improve the country, what piece of information would you want them to leave this podcast with?
What piece of information? Rather than a piece of information, I would ask them to actually spend a day in the life of a small entrepreneur or a farming business, and not just decide what they think is what's needed, but actually live it, or engage with people who are living it and breathing it, I guess, and try and get that understanding. I think traditionally in the Northeast it's very much job creation, but I think as a one person running a business who's got great ideas, if they had support to employ their first hire, and once you've done one hire and hopefully done it correctly, it's then easier to then build from there, and it's just that little ripple, isn't it? And I don't think there's that support to help with that first hire.
Any more for anyone? In that case, Joe, thank you very much. An amazing story. I'm sure there's a lot more to it. It's a really tough sector to work in. You're still in there 21 years later, so you must be doing something right. And,
I don't know. I think a lot of it's voluntarily. I'm very fortunate. As part of my divorce settlement, I had a chunk of money, so I was able to leave so I was supposed to be at business term until the end of March this year, but decided in October of last year that it was time to leave. So in October I gave myself 12 months, in January I gave myself 12 months, and then I've decided that, well, obviously it's the year of the fire horse, isn't it, and that doesn't start until the 17th of February, so my 12 months starts on the 17th of February. After that, I don't know, we'll see what happens.
Well, thank you very much again for giving me time. Much appreciated. So
you're very
that's
kind.
it.
Thank you for enabling me to do that.